beautiful, beautiful beings of the light. Welcome. We are here for day 8 of our self love in relationship challenge. We are so excited that you are here with us. If you are live with us right now, or if you are on the recording, we are just so blessed to have you here. We have been having an absolutely amazing time together. We are in the groundbreaking adventure of our self love revolution. And if you are tuning in, I it's my gut feeling that you are part of this amazing self-love revolution. I see my amazing peoples coming on. Hello, Sister Lisa. So glad you're here. Good morning to you, beautiful one. How are you doing today? How's the weather? I know you were saying it was you were saying it was snowing in Calgary recently, which is really intense. How is the weather today on this beautiful May day? So glad you are here. So we are on day 8 of our self-love in relationship challenge. And okay, Lisa says it's sunny but cool. The snow melted, thank heavens. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's a bit intense having snow in May. That's really late into the season. So we are back for day 8 of our self-love in relationship challenge. And we have just been talking about so many different practices. The past, excuse me, couple of days, we've really been focusing on healthy communication. And we've just been going over so many different communication practices to just really help us talk to our partners in ways that can bring us together rather than bring us apart. And I've mentioned many times my background, my PhD is actually in marriage and family therapy. And from my experience working with so many different couples over the years, communication is really where a relationship is made or not. So it cannot be overemphasized how crucial and foundational, healthy, basically positive communication is to a relationship. So yeah, it's a big deal. So I'll just quickly go over the practices that we have done so far, and then we're going to go right into some new practices for today. Today will be the last day we focus on communication, and then tomorrow, day 9, we're going to do something completely different and exciting as well. So on day 1, the first practice is fearless, radical commitment to your own happiness. Does that feel good? Oh, it feels good to me. I love that. Day 2, you and only you are responsible for your life and happiness. How does that one feel? Day 3, fearless, radical commitment to your human's needs. How does that feel? Feels like, oh, I can really commit, I can really privilege, I can really honor my human's needs. That sounds great. Day 4, the relationship is in each moment. Day 5, love is a verb. Love is a verb. How are we showing up for each other? How are we actually behaviorally loving each other? And then day 6 and day 7, we have been going over so many different, excuse me, communication practices. So if you're tuning in, let me know. I'm really curious which practice has maybe resonated with you the most. Which practice are you focusing on? What is feeling really good? How are you showing yourself self-love just on your own? And how are you showing yourself self-love in relationship? Let me know how it's going. I know for me, I've been sharing this a lot, that coming together every day like this, this is actually our 18th day of our self-love revolution. We previously had 10 days of a self-love challenge, excuse me, which just focused on our own self-love outside of relationship. And now we're on day 8 of our self-love in relationship. So if you've been following along, this is our 18th day of self-love. And I'm just curious, how is it landing? Are you feeling a bit different internally? What is your internal experience, and what are you noticing on your in your external reality with your relationships? What are you seeing? What are you experiencing? How is self-love transforming your life? I know in the beginning of these challenges, I've talked how self-love I credit with literally saving my life. And I feel that self-love really continues to save my life, to give me pretty much all of the gifts in my life are from my own self-love practice. So let me know how it's feeling for you. And if you're not feeling it, please let me know that too. Please let me know if you're struggling. Please let me know what challenges you might be having right now, and we can talk about those as well. So please share openly, honestly. Anything is great. It's just great to hear how everyone is doing. Hello, my sister Gretchen. I'm focusing on active listening with my family. Amazing. You told a beautiful story yesterday or the day before about active listening with your sister. Not your sister, sorry, your daughter. I'm so glad. I'm so glad. And let me know how it's working. What are you noticing as you practice more active listening with your family? What tends to happen is when we do this type of behavior, especially with our kids, we will start to see our kids doing this behavior. So it's really, really exciting to bring these very healthy practices to the people around us, to share these really healthy practices. Uh, and if you feel like it, I wanted to just check in on our scale. Last week, maybe on Wednesday, a week ago, we gave ourselves a number from 1 to 10 on our self-love, just individually, and on our self-love in relationship. And I just wanted, if it feels resonant, of course you don't have to, but if it feels resonant, a week later, just checking in on those numbers. So I'll share, excuse me, that a week ago, my self-love that I gave me just individually outside of relationship, I gave myself an 8.5 out of 10. And then in a relationship, I gave myself a 5.5. And it was really interesting. I think everyone who shared their numbers, the in relationship self-love number was lower. Really interesting, right? So it seems that for most of us, it is more of an expansion to hold and nurture our self-love when we are in relationship. And it makes sense. There's more going on. There's more to negotiate. There's more at stake. So I think this is really natural. Lisa, thank you so much for sharing. You're working on embodying some of the basic self-love tenets, like reducing negative self-talk and remembering to protect my inner child. How beautiful. That is beautiful. Beautiful self-love practices. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing. That's amazing. So I'm just going to think about what numbers I would give myself at this point. As I said, 8.5 and 5.5. I believe they've gone up. I'm going to write this down. 8.5, 5.5. I believe they've gone up. I believe I can give myself a 9 on the self-love just on my own. And in self-love in relationship, I think I can go up to a 7. I think this challenge has really helped me. And all of us talking about it every day and all of that, the solidarity, all of that, I think has really helped me increase my self-love. So yeah, I would say I'm at a 9 and a 7 for the 2 scales of my self-love. Hello, beautiful sister Christina. Oh my goodness. Okay, these are the miracles that happen when we are so aligned and we are practicing self-love. I'm just going to share this beautiful comment. This is so beautiful. Christina, our dear sister in Portland, is sharing a miracle happened. I might start to tear up. A miracle happened with my relationship with 3 people without me doing anything externally. I'm getting massive chills. That is so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing this miracle. We've been talking about this so much, as within, so without, this universal principle. As we embody self-love, more and more self-love, without us having to do anything, without us necessarily having to have any conversations, we will see profound shifts on our external relationships. And Christina is bringing testimony to this today. That is exactly what I've experienced as well. It's absolutely beautiful and just really proof that what we experience in our external reality is just a mirror of what is our internal reality. We can think of it in a way that we are just projecting our internal consciousness into our external life. And what we are carrying within us, we will see reflected back to us on the external. So this is just a beautiful testimony to this universal truth. I'm so happy for you, Christina. And I know I've known you for so many years, and you're just such a beautiful light and so committed to the light. And I'm just so glad that you received this miracle. That is beautiful. Yay! And okay, great. And Gretchen says an 8 for self-love individually. And it moves around a lot. Awesome. That's a high number. Beautiful. And if your number is low, that is beautiful too. It is all perfect. If you're feeling that any of your numbers is low, that is okay. Please give yourself love around that, and please just honor wherever you are. It is all perfect. You are perfect as you are right now, no matter what your number is. The numbers just is meant to be kind of fun and to give us a little bit of context of where we are. So thank you so much for sharing all these beautiful shares. I'm so excited about, Christina, your miracle. I'm so excited to hear how people are embodying their self-love. This is just an amazing revolution that we are all integral pieces of. Everyone tuning in, it is my sense, my gut instinct that we are all coming together as a tribe of self-love ambassadors, and we are all coming together to literally transform the planet. So very, very, very exciting. And before we get into the practice for today, at the top of the chat in the You Are Your Own Hero Facebook group, there is a link to a course that my partner and I created. It's called the Namaste Method, and it's a very comprehensive course that covers all of these communication practices that we've been talking about over the past few days. And I'm so grateful to my sister Christina, who bought the course, I think yesterday, and I hope that you get so much out of it. The course is very inexpensively priced, and there's also a money back guarantee. We so believe in it, so we have a money back guarantee. So please take a look at that. It also really supports our work. And I also have a link at the top of the chat to a wonderful book by John Gottman. We've talked a bit about John Gottman, I believe, over the past 2 days. He is an amazing marriage and family therapist in my same field, and he runs a love lab, and he scientifically studies couples, and he can predict which couples will have longevity in their relationship and which won't, really based on their communication. So I've put in the chat one of his books. It's a great book. He's just a wonderful resource for healthy communication. So I highly recommend anything that he has written. Good morning, Amazing Joe, my brother in Hawaii. I'm so glad you're here. How are you? How is everything in the beautiful state of Hawaii? We're so glad you're here. Nice to have a gentleman in the house. And Joe, we were just doing a self-love sort of assessment. If you want to join in, what number from 1 to 10 you feel you're at in your individual self-love, and what number from 1 to 10 you feel you're at in your relational self-love. So we would love to hear. Okay, so day 8, we are going to wrap up our healthy communication practices. Over the past 2 days, we've talked about many different orientations, many different practices. And it seems like the ones that have really resonated with all of us, that have created the most conversation, are active listening. And yesterday we talked a lot about vulnerability. And just one more time, if you haven't seen anything prior to this episode, active listening is simply when one person talks, the other person listens, just listens, doesn't say a word, and then repeats back what the first person has said, and then you switch. And it's such a simple technique, but it's easy to fall out of it, especially if you get triggered, especially if someone says something that you really want to defend yourself about. So it's very easy, it's very human to fall out of active listening. My commitment in my own relationships right now, especially my partnership, is, especially if we're talking about anything tricky, anything that might be painful or uncomfortable for one or both of us, that we stay in active listening. When we get out of active listening, that's when conversations really go south, and when things can really start to be injurious to all of us. So I can't say enough about active listening. Active listening, I think, can transform relationships. And then yesterday we talked quite a lot about vulnerability. And a lot of us were sharing that vulnerability is scary. Vulnerability is something, sometimes a challenge. And I was sharing that I feel the same way. And where I've landed with vulnerability is I am committed to showing up in the most open-hearted, most vulnerable way that I can. That is my commitment to myself. I want to be the best version of myself as much as I can. And I'm giving my relationship the best shot if I'm showing up in this way. And then I make peace with whatever comes back, with whatever I receive. I may get hurt. I may not. My partner may also show up open-heartedly and vulnerably. Uh, so I just make peace with whatever happens. I am not in control of the external. I'm not in control of my partner's behavior towards me. But I am committed to showing up in my best self and my continual expansion. So we talked a lot about vulnerability and open-heartedness yesterday. And I'm just curious for all of my amazing people here, for those of you who were here talking about vulnerability and open-heartedness, where you land on vulnerability and open-heartedness at this point, after we've been talking about it. I'm curious how it feels at this point after we've been marinating in it for a bit. Okay, so today we're going to wrap up our healthy communication practices. And I'm just going to introduce a few more practices. These are all from our Namaste Method course. The link is at the top of the chat if you want to look at it. It's really helpful. And okay, so let's go to, okay, the first practice we're going to talk about today is an expansion of active listening. We're going to add 2 more pieces to active listening. We're going to add validating and we're going to add empathizing. And if you only do active listening, it's going to help so much. If you add in these 2 extra ingredients, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I believe your relationship is just going to go up, 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 skyrocket when we use these very loving tools of validation and empathy. So just to get clear, what does validate mean? So to me, validate means we give value to what someone has shared with us, what our partner has shared with us. We are recognizing what they have shared. We are acknowledging what they have shared. We are expressing acceptance about what they have shared. So an example sentence could be, I recognize that this was your experience and I acknowledge how difficult it was for you. And please tell me more. Is there anything else that you would like to share about this experience? So in this way, again, we are giving value to what they have shared. We are honoring what they have shared. We are recognizing and acknowledging what they have shared. So this is validation. This is extremely loving, very, very loving. How would it feel for your partner to say something like that to you? I recognize that this is how you felt. I acknowledge that this was very difficult for you. Is there anything else you would like to share? I know just saying that out loud and feeling that in my body, that feels amazing. That is such a gift to receive from your partner and also to offer your partner. To me, at least, one of the most precious experiences I have in partnership is being understood. I it's to me, it's sort of less important what actually happens after these trickier conversations, just to feel that my partner is making an effort to understand me, and if he does arrive at understoodness, that feels amazing, to be understood for me. And then a further step is empathy. And so, what do we mean by empathy? Empathy means we are able to put ourselves in someone else's shoes and see things from their perspective. And this is a little different from sympathy, which is more understanding from your own perspective. So, an empathetic statement would be, I can understand how you feel. In your shoes, I can understand that this was super difficult and painful for you. I can understand that. So these two tools, validation and empathy, when we add those into our active listening practice, can really promote just so much intimacy. I just was talking about feeling understood, and for me at least, I feel intimate. I feel close to someone when I feel understood. And especially if I also feel validated and empathized with, oh my goodness. I'm on cloud nine. I feel it feels very intimate. It feels very warm and fuzzy. It's amazing. Active listening, validation, and empathy. So let me know what your experience is with validation and empathy. Are you receiving active listening, validation, and empathy from your partner? Are you able to give active listening, empathy, validation, and empathy to your partner? How is that working? And I would say in my partnership, we're still working on these things, on all of them. We're getting better and better, but it is a work in progress. And so I'm curious how your partnership, your relationships are going with active listening, validation, and empathy. Okay. Some more practices here from the Namaste method. We basically already talked about this, but I want to just say it one more time. We are being invited in relationship to at times hold space for our partner when our partner needs to talk about something, or when our partner is going through something. And ideally, this is mutual. And for me, at least, this is under the category of love is a verb. Is your partner able to hold space for you? And this could just mean active listening, basically. But when you are going through something, when you need support, is your partner able to hold space for you? I know many of us, as amazing light workers on this planet, we're usually quite skilled at holding space for others, and it's easy to really be the one giving all of that space, giving all of that love to others. But as we were talking about self-love in relationship, we want to strike a balance that we also someone else is also able to hold space for us, that there is mutuality, reciprocity there. Okay. Another practice here is to strive to always maintain a bridge between you and your partner. So, even with the best of intentions, even with the best tool bag of communication practices, sometimes things go really south in the relationship. Sometimes things come up and People are triggered. People are in pain. People are in old stories. We're all working through all of these right now. And sometimes the relationship can feel tricky. And the practice here is see if you can always maintain a bridge. And the idea here is your bridge is above all of the possible conflicts or problems or challenges that may be coming up. Your bridge is here. It is stable. This is you as a team. And anything you're dealing with is underneath the bridge. You and your partner are a team, and everything you're dealing with is basically outside of the bridge. So this is a beautiful practice that really establishes a lot of security and safety in a partnership, in a relationship. So an example of this, of maintaining this bridge, is if you're having a really difficult conversation and it is not going well, and one or both of you is not practicing active listening, and you can just tell, okay, this is not going to work. This is not going well. And you feel you need to leave the conversation because of this, leave the conversation with love, with the bridge, graciously and with love, if you can. So something like, this conversation maybe isn't going so well. Let's come back and talk about this when we have more peace between us. And I love you very much. I'm committed to us. And let's talk later. So rather than maybe hanging up the phone or leaving in an angry way or leaving with an insult, all of those injure the bridge. All of those are stress on the bridge. We want to take the higher perspective that this is my partner. We are committed. We're working through something. All is well. And let's just keep our bridge, and we'll see what we can do about these other issues. So maintaining a bridge is very, very nurturing to the relationship, and can leave us with a feeling of, okay, even though there's some conflict, even though there's some tension, we're still together, and we're working through as a team. This idea of being teammates, and the larger perspective that we've been talking about all throughout this challenge, that relationships are really a dojo. They're really a vessel for our own growth, and really to hold that gratitude towards your partner when conflicts come up, when catalysts come up. It's always to help us. For the human experience, it's not easy, and it doesn't really feel so great, and we may not want the situation at all. But everything that's coming in is designed to help us, is designed to show us our shadow, is designed to promote our ascension path. And our partners are providing all of this for us, as we are for them. So taking that larger perspective is really helpful, and to see if you can maintain gratitude about the relationship and about your partner, even when things are really challenging and possibly painful, and maybe not going the way you would like them to go. Excuse me. A few more points here. I want to talk about repair and debriefing. So these are really helpful practices, particularly as something very difficult has happened in your relationship. It could be a situation that was really difficult, or it could be a conversation that felt hurtful. It's a beautiful practice that once the dust has settled, to come together when everyone is calm and grounded, and ask each other, can we debrief about what happened. And again, I think active listening is really great to debrief with active listening. And then at the end of the debriefing, when everyone feels complete about sharing their experience, to ask each other about repair. Is there any repair that you might need after this experience with me? How can I help going forward? What do you need? These are just beautiful, loving, very nurturing orientations for each partner to take after something difficult has happened. And we've been talking about this a lot, that everything we're talking about is about investment. It's about investing in your relationship. It's about taking some time to do these practices, including a repair debriefing practice, in order to nurture and take care of the relationship. And of course, whatever we invest in reaps rewards for us. So it just always helps to invest in the relationship. So let me know how this is landing for you all, these practices that we've been doing here today. And okay, a couple more. Okay, another practice is the difference between needs and preferences, or needs and desires could be another way to say it. So all of us usually have some basic needs, some foundational baselines for our relationships. I know for me, I need to be able to be truthful in a relationship. I need a certain level of reciprocity in a relationship. I need a certain level of my partner showing up for me in specific ways. So those are needs I have. If those needs are not able to be met, it may be hard for me to stay in that relationship over the long term. Now, we also have preferences or desires in a relationship. And so it's really great to, at some point in your relationship, usually this is great to do in the beginning, is to talk about each other's needs. Hey, what are your base needs in a relationship? And to share them and to see how that lands for your partner. Do you think it's possible? Do you think you can meet these needs? Can I meet your needs? So again, love is a verb. Can our partner meet our basic needs? So it's great just to get it out on the table. To me, it reminds me of having a conversation about money. I know the way I've been brought up, I've sort of been socialized that somehow we shouldn't talk about money with other people, that it's inappropriate, or money is dirty. I don't know. So many weird programs around money. But I see this topic in the same way, that why aren't we openly talking about our needs really from the beginning? I know that I haven't in my partnerships, in my relationships. I haven't started out the relationships by saying, hey, can we talk about each other's needs in relationships and see how that lands for each other? I've never started a relationship in that way. So note to self, very important. And actually with my current partner, we're, I would say, somewhat in the middle of talking about each other's needs, but we've known each other for 2 years now. So it's a little late, but better late than never. Better late than never. All is perfect. So let me know how that feels. And then a conversation about your preferences or desires. These potentially are more flexible. And in these areas, this is usually where the expansion is going to happen for you. Because generally, our partners do not meet all of our preferences or our desires. Let me know. I'm laughing here because this has been a challenge for me, as I think it has been for my partner as well. Let me know what your experience is with this. I would love to know. But basically, usually what happens is some of our preferences or desires are met by our partner. Some of them aren't. And then, so this is just a field of interesting interactions that we can have around the preferences that are not being met. And usually what is happening is usually it's a situation for both of you to grow, for each one of you to shift in some way, to create harmony between you. So it's great. It's part of our expansion. It's really helpful. And I can see that in my partnership, that where his preferences and my preferences, where there are differences, we are each being invited to shift a bit so that we have harmony. And I can see that this has actually served me so much and expanded me, and I believe for my partner as well. So I'm really curious what your take is on this, if you've had a similar experiences around preferences. Okay, and then the last practice I'm going to go over here is it's about inner partnership. So I know for me, I've said this before, I grew up in Cinderella land, where I was really socialized to believe that my Prince Charming was going to show up on a white steed and I would live happily ever after in his castle, and everything would just be perfect because of him. Yeah, that did not happen. And now I'm grateful that that did not happen. But that was my programming, that a man would come into my life and everything would be perfect. And what really has happened is my partner has come into my life, and I would say has brought up so much of my shadow, has brought up so many of my own gaps in my self-love, and has illuminated for me where I'm being invited to expand. And one of those areas for me has been inner partnership. So sometimes my partner is going through things. Sometimes he's not available. And this has really, really invited me to come back to myself and know that my most important partnership is with myself, and that I always have myself, regardless of what is going on with my partner or anyone else. So an expansion, a practice here that has been so helpful for me is this inner partnership, inner solidarity, inner companionship. And this is what has helped me to feel very whole, very secure, very safe, no matter what is going on with anyone else or the external reality. So I believe this is the invitation for all of us to really forge through with inner partnership. So let me know how that is landing for you. And let me know which practice maybe is one of your favorites, which practice is really resonating with you. And I would just love to know. So tomorrow, we are going to go into a completely new practice outside of communication. Well, I guess it does actually have a bit to do with communication. And this practice is the truth always serves everyone in the end. The truth always serves everyone in the end. I know for me, growing up, I was very much socialized to not speak my truth, to suppress, to stick to things other people wanted to hear. And coming out of that, breaking through that programming has been very life changing for me. And the guidance, the channeling I always get is that no matter how, in the short term, uncomfortable the truth may be for others around us, in the end, the truth always serves all. So we're going to talk a lot about that tomorrow, and that is that's tomorrow's day 9. That is day 9's self-love in relationship practice. So thank you all so much. You are all amazing. It has been such a joy to be with you every day. And I'm so grateful for all of you. And we will be here tomorrow, same time, same place, for day 9 of our self-love in relationship. So much love to everybody. Thank you so much.